thank you for coming into this special night.
For this is the first night we are feasting together on a unique prey.
Insidious is from horror. It's definitely original and
It is a fun, spooky film to watch on a dark night. Insidious is about Dalton Lambert, who enters a mysterious coma that no one knew what had caused it or what is keeping him under. During the process of the film, Renee, our female protagonist, takes up the role as leader and support of the household. She tries to keep the family together during the current crisis, but with little success, as they are haunted by the red-faced demon and another specter. Throughout the film, it is soon revealed that Dalton has traveled deep into an unknown world through astral projection and is unable to come back. It falls upon Josh, who was also revealed to have this ability as a kid, to explore the world and save Dalton before the demon takes Dalton's sleeping form. However, another threat soon appears, showing us that the horror is never over.
the atmosphere. It remains consistent. Keeps at its creepiness, it's chilling. It definitely sets an ominous tone. The way it makes this species stand out from all the others is that they deal with a phenomenon known as astral projection. And astral projection is when you enter a meditative state or happen when you're sleeping and your spirit leaves the body, a vessel,
Becomes
vulnerable to possession.
of foreign and even dangerous entities such as ghosts, angels, demons, and even the devil. There's also the danger of leaving the body for too long that becomes difficult to find and return to. There are critical issues within the flavor and texture of this prey that makes the experience dull and annoying. We need to address them so the hunters like you can learn from their follies and shortcomings.
The followers in these type of films are being the unbelieving and unpassionate father.
Josh Lambert doesn't fit that role. It feels as though the first hunters of this prey need him to be. So they written him as such in certain parts of the film, but it made him act out of character.
He definitely is supportive. He definitely loves his family, and he shows compassion towards his wife. So the best way to fix this sort of issue is that when you raise a prey into the horror family, you need to at least set up a setting, set up a situation where it at least makes sense, or you don't even have to make an exposition dump. All it takes is one image, one mention, one sentence, one thought to suggest and fill in the rest of the blanks. It has irrelevant characters who are just there when you're raising your prey. You need to be careful of the characters you use, and you need to make sure these character types have to serve a purpose in the film.
If they don't, they need to be omitted. Also, if you need characters to become plot devices to create tension, then it needs to be blended well with the film. Yet, if these plot devices characters are close to the protagonist, then simply putting them in and writing them out is the disservice to these characters and the roles they serve. Two characters come to mind, Collie and Foster. They are canary birds in the film. For those who don't know, canary birds are creatures that are the prey of uncommon attacks. Also, they are always the first to die. I bet you can imagine certain characters that come to mind in certain films, whose purpose is only to die to warn. Though Carly and Foster do not die, they are still treated as though they are canary birds. The reason I come to this conclusion is that Foster's appearance becomes non-existent after he told Renee that he doesn't like how Dalton walks around at night. When Carly, who was harassed by the demon not once but twice, then she disappeared in the film. The main issue with this is that there is no explanation on where they are, though the writers and directors seem to brush that out of our mind so we can concentrate on the story. We hunters, we see these flaws and weaknesses and use it for our advantage. If you're going to create plot device characters and have them as side characters that are close to Renee and Josh, then as a story hunter, it is your duty to establish a hint as to where these characters disappear to. I would suggest either during the setting of the film or before the climax, or even before the finale. This upcoming moment is perhaps the worst moment in this film. Josh went down to see who was at the door when we heard their daughter cry, whereupon an intruder appears. Renee shouts the intruder is at the window, where his next brilliant step leaves the window to check the closet, and has the audacity to look at her like she's crazy while saying, "No one's here." How stupid can you be, Josh? Honestly, that alarm you hear, that's your stupidity alarm going off. I would like to point out the reason the scene was worse, for it not only contradicts his character as being a believing and logical father, but it shows how realistic this scene was. Note how easily he doubted his wife's intelligence and perception skills by instantly disbelieving and ignoring Renee by going to the closet. You can clearly see that the window was open. Do you think that maybe the intruder might have escaped through the window? Why would the intruder flee to the closet after Renee called him out?
You have an intruder in the house and he's at the window, and you have somebody in the house saying, "There's an intruder at the window." You don't look in the closet. She was still there in the room saying that there's someone at the window. She would have said he went into the closet, and he would have been still in the closet. This guy is a teacher. Alright, he's supposed to be learning at least a little bit of logic, saying if there's an intruder in the house and if he's at the window, most likely if somebody points him out, he's going to go right back out the window. He isn't going to go to the closet. So this pretty much makes no sense. When you have an intruder or something suspicious happening around your house, what's the first thing you want to do? Let's say, for example, that you know somebody's in the house and they're making a mess. Let's say you don't believe in the paranormal, like absolutely at all. What would you do? You would call the cops. The demon or certain intruder is in the house. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a bit of a shock even to me. The house was alarmed. But we're going to cover that again. I just wanted to point out if there's an intruder in the house and he has broken through the window, and Renee would have at least called the cops. When you raise your prey, one of the things is to know that you don't need to have the physical cops there. It's at least to show or suggest that there was once a presence of cops. That would at least make a little bit of sense. At least a mention, at least a phone call. Something. There wasn't any.
If the cop scene was added into the film, Renee would have told the cops about the strange voice that was in the baby monitor. That could have added more information, a lot more tension.
The alarm went off for the rest of the house. There was not one phone call. Even alarm systems back in that time, if somebody was a break in the house and the alarm was to go off, They would get a call from somebody.
Perhaps that phone call could have brought the police. It would cause an investigation at the house, which could have lasted at least 15 or 20 seconds of filming time. The police would have found nothing, causing Renee to start questioning herself. Josh to further doubt her and firmly believe she's mad, and would isolate both of them. That event could have helped develop Renee's character and in consequences Josh's, especially when she acquired the sheet with a bloody handprint. It would testify her claims and help convince her and Josh that she is not going insane. Though this film has weaknesses, there is a lot of good that we need to talk about. The best part of the film happens in the introduction, or to be more specific, the setting. The setting of this creature was craftically and artistically well done, from still images in the opening credits to the establishment of Renee, Dalton, and Josh, along with the chaos of everyday life.
You could definitely see where the prey is going and where it's doing. And I want you to remember there are certain things within the species that helps you to learn more about it. And we don't know exactly what has happened in the past to have caused the family to move out. As you've seen in the setting, the family just moved in. When they set up Dalton's room, they're facing out again, you will notice that in the setting of the film, they've already established that of the main antagonist, the demon, the astral world or the shadow world, and how they set up the cliffhanger is also brilliant.
There are
two books. What we want to look at is known as healing music, and what I've learned is to help somebody with grief, that something has happened in Renee's past that has caused the entire family to come here. It's not only that it affected her, it affected Josh Lambert. Hence why he stayed in school a lot longer than he should. So there was an actual moment where he actually overslept. But that actually served well for the rest of the film, because when she uses the music to help her, the thing we need to know, she needed that music. Let's say, for example, that you're dealing with something, and you find that drawing a painting, even building something with your own hands, helps you to distract your mind over what has happened in the past. It helps you to cope. She has used her musical talent to help her to adjust to the fact that Dalton is still in a coma, and she overreacted to the fact that people moved around her music around. The second book I want to cover, Josh Lambert is absent in the family. When all the stuff is going around, when Dalton's in his coma, they are laid on bills. She still took on the role of leadership in the rest of the family. While Josh Lambert is grieving in school, instead, she has to take on the role. And we have noticed as the story progressed, her mental and her psyche started to deteriorate more and more. And as she needed him more at the house to do his part as being the father. Instead of just hiding away at school.
When Renee confronts Josh about his negligence in his role as the father, she firmly established a theme of the film, that a strong family dynamic requires the strength and cooperation of both partners in order to survive any crisis. They create a very well-made, shape-shifting character.
The shapeshifter personality is who blurs the line between ally and enemy. Often they begin as an ally, then betray the hero at a critical moment, which in this case is exactly reversal. And that role is played by Josh Lambert, Renee, who's trying to hold the family together, who figures things out and to watch over the family, while Josh Lambert, he does his job as a teacher.
And he uses his job to escape the situation at home, but he's also neglecting his duties as the father of the household.
And he actually
became the solution that would save Dalton and his family.
As we know, with most cliche moment when the house is haunted by a malevolent spirit, there's occasionally a seance. And during the seance, you have someone who's the mediator who really calls upon the spirit. which in this case would be Dalton. The way that they did the seance is that it was the best way of revealing who the main antagonist was. Who was the one that really put Dalton into the state that he is in. Who was known as the lipstick demon, or in another case, as the red-faced demon, or cotton demon. The seance room used it perfectly well to show the power and strength this demon has possessed. What he can do while in the astral world. And at least Rainer, she sent these two guys named Specs and Tucker to evaluate the household to see whether or not there is an actual paranormal presence. Well, they soon found that out, and in a very comedic fashion. That is you know there's a demon, they set the seance. The second photograph room sets the mood up for a cliffhanger. It's telling us it's not over yet. There is another generation coming. And sure enough, there's at least 4 generations to this prey. So above all, the story development is good. The plot is decent enough. The character definitely developed. The dialogue that is exchanged between these characters are believable with crazy prey.
Stay away from stereotypical roles, unless you can make it work. Make sure your story stays consistent with the theme, but remember to have fun. You can have a bit of comedy and romance in the middle of a slasher film, but remember to remind the audience that they are still in danger. Have everything set up at the beginning. As we saw in the film, settings reveal everything, from the main character to the purpose in the film. Finally, always show, don't tell, which Insidious did quite well. When you're creating a horror story, if you're not feeling terrified or fear, then you're doing something wrong. Go back, find the problem, and rewrite from there. Keep doing it until you start feeling afraid.
How you guys like the prey that you pasted on? Thank you all for coming. And the next time that we're going to be covering how these species was raised from the very start. So that means we're going to be looking into the skeletal. We're going to be looking on how they were raised from the bottom up. And if you haven't joined our path, I'll be ready to see you tonight. And don't forget that you're one of us now. As long as you keep your creative spirit strong and you keep your wild spirit, you'll be able to take down any prey you desire. So be ready to hunt when you're here or how.